everybody? It's your girl Pam with 2200TAPS. Yo, we officially have collaborated with Coming Home Well, the organization. We are stoked to be a part of the team. And with that, we're bringing on one hell of a guest today. He reached out. I know him personally, and I'm super stoked. He just wanted to be on the show. We got one hell of a show for you guys. And I want to kind of introduce you to this guy. His name is Tyler Moss. I mean, that's a pretty badass name just to start with, Tyler Moss, right? But this guy, I met him at the Adaptive Training Foundation, in which we talk about all the time. I ended up being one of his support trainers, and he is actually a Kansas City police officer. Still, I believe so. Right, Tyler?
Yep.
All right. I was going to make sure before I butcher that, because I feel like I do my homework, and then it's like I sound like I don't, and then it sounds horrible, but it sounded good, so we're solid. So let's move on.
Perfect.
So Tyler, man, if you don't, there are so many police officers that I've met from Kansas City. Tom, you, here, Kate, recently, that have gone through some pretty traumatic stuff. And I'm going to do my best not to curse for this episode, just because I know the kind of man you are, and I want to make sure that we honor that. So the F-bombs are going to go away, guys. Whew, here we go. But getting to it, I've seen a lot of Kansas City police officers come through the gym, and you in particular, when I started working with you, it just blew my mind, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But before we start diving into that stuff, thanks for coming on today. I appreciate you more than you know right now. Thanks, Tyler.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm thankful for you to have me on.
No, totally. I mean, you reached out, and I'm like, yes, because I was hoping to get your story at some point, and you got me before I got you, and I couldn't. I'm super stoked and super thankful. If you could tell us, my listeners, just a little bit about your background, what brought you here today, and then we're gonna dive into your story. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
So my name's Tyler Moss, 29 years old. I work for the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Been on, it'll be 5 years, May 17th. About 2.5 or 3 years ago, I was dispatched to a call for service in regard to a individual waving a weapon. As we showed up on scene, he began shooting at our police car and then started to take off running. We as police officers can't let these people get away, so we chase after him. He ran into like a junkyard area. We gave chase, came around a corner, and he began shooting at us again, and struck me just to the right of my right eye. I fell, landed on my nose, shattered my face, and was subsequently rushed to the hospital in a police car, and was taken into emergency surgery, and pretty much was in ICU for about 2.5, 3 weeks. Woke up, was transferred to Craig Hospital in Inglewood, Colorado. Was there for a couple months. Came back to Kansas City to start my rehab here. I was in and out of rehab for about a year, and then I subsequently went back to work part-time, not on the streets, but still part-time, and still doing workouts today. To this day, and will probably continue that the rest of my life. It's a big part of my life.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: did you, when you were growing up, did you want to be a police officer? What led you into that?
So it's actually a funny question because I get asked that a lot. So, I feel like I've always had like a calling for not necessarily police officer, but to give back to people. Mm-hmm. I feel like we are, in my opinion, we're all children of God, so I feel like he kind of put me on this earth to serve others, just like we're supposed to honor him and to disciple people to bring him to him. So I feel like I've always kind of wanted to be in a servant role in some kind, either military or police officers. I was in Seattle, Washington for work for a couple of jobs before I started on the police department, and I was there during the 2016 election. There was a lot of animosity towards police officers and law enforcement just for wearing the badge, and that really subsequently really inspired me to want to become one. I saw a bunch of police officers get shot, and it's funny how I ended up getting shot, but it just really made me want to be one, to make that change in people's lives, and I feel like I really conquered that for a long time until subsequently, I did get shot, but I feel like I'm still inspiring others to this day, that I continue to show up to work every day. I continue to, still work out at the gym even after I'm having seizures or whatever it might be that give me, quote unquote step backs. But I feel like, I learned something from every single hardship in my life that's happened so far.
Man, and still, until this day, still, because I mean, I follow you, keep tabs on you, and we'll talk about what's been going on here lately. Uh,
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing all that. And
yeah, no problem.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into what happened and
Okay,
take us as deep as you want to take us. You can take us as I mean, it's your story, man. Whatever you want to share. I'm just gonna ask some
okay,
questions and then we'll see how this goes. All right.
sounds
So
good.
first off, you got shot July 2nd of 2020,
Yes.
which is actually the day after my birthday. Hint, hint.
Oh wow, I did not
It's,
know
it's
that.
the day after my birthday. I mean, I wasn't born in 2020. I was born
Yeah,
in
I know that.
19, you know? So,
Just you got to keep it on DL.
yeah,
I'm not gonna
you know, people can kind of figure it
ask.
out, but yeah, I'll tell you after when we're off this thing. Uh, and when I heard about your story, it blew my mind because when I got to you, you had a goal, which we'll talk about here in a minute, which was really cool. But kind
Yeah.
of backtracking before I digress because I will Squirrel City over here.
No, you're
Um,
good.
what? So can you tell us what you went through, right? Without re-traumatizing you, I mean, all that good stuff. Just what the hell happened besides you getting shot? When you woke up in that hospital, what do you even remember?
So I really don't. So I don't really remember much from that day.
Yeah.
When I did wake up out of a coma, I was so out of it. The first thing I remember is I had a drain in the back of my head, and I remember them pulling that out and how bad that hurt. When I got to Craig Hospital, I was in such a brain fog that I didn't even know what happened to me. I
Mm.
remember, I think my speech therapist and everything else asked what happened, and for some reason, I thought I got in a bike accident. Don't ask me why I did. Said that, but I did. And then, so I mean, even like a week after I got there, I thought that's what happened to me. And
Mm.
then subsequently, uh, my speech therapist said, "Hey, Tyler, you got shot in the head when you were a police officer." And then I was like, "Okay, that's when it kind of hit real." Because I was in a wheelchair, so I'm like thinking like I don't even know what the heck happened to me.
All right.
And subsequently, I found out I ended up getting shot in the line of duty, and then that's when it really hit home. I called my partner and was like, "Hey, man, what happened that day?" And because he remembers, because he was there with me right as I got shot. So I had to ask him, "Hey, man, did we
Wow.
do anything wrong that day?" Trying to be like tactically sound, like what we did. He's like, dude, I'm telling you right now. He's like, we didn't do anything wrong that day. It just was a bad situation. I wish I walked around that corner first. And I said, you can't think that way, man. I was like, unfortunately, it happened to me, but if it happened to you, I would be in the same situation that you're telling me about. So it's just all around a horrible situation. I'm trying to make the best out of it every single day that I'm on this earth.
It's just a bad day at work.
Yes,
It was a
exactly.
bad day at
Bad,
work.
very bad day. Very bad day.
Very
Yes.
bad day. So I know that you had to actually relearn how to walk again
Oh
and
yeah.
and shower and take care of yourself again.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for me is, being what 26, 27 at the time when I got shot.
Mm.
You're kind of in what I call I'm still in my prime, but I was in my like real prime. I was in my own house. I bought my own house. I was living on my own, out on my own, doing literally every single thing on my own. And
Yeah.
then for that to be taken from you within a split second is horrible. Then you have to, unfortunately, I had to move back in with my parents. I love my parents; they do so much for me. But as a now 29-year-old, I necessarily don't want to move back in with my parents. That's something. I mean, I still go to my house part time. Like on the weekends, I'll go up there on my own. But I think they're somewhat nervous because I deal with seizures, which I understand. Like
Mm.
they don't want to see anything bad happen to me. But there's going to come a point where like I just need to do my thing, and I can't drive right now, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But eventually I will be able to once I figure out the medication and everything else, and my body heals itself. But as of now, there's nothing I can do to control any of this right now. I just have to live day by day.
So coming out of all of that, how did you get help around your mental state, or did you get help from that?
So at the beginning, it didn't really affect me a whole lot. As time went along, it started to really hit me in
Mm.
regard to like okay, now I know I can't be a police. Not now I know I can't go back to what I loved doing before on the
Right.
streets. Uh, that hit me pretty hard because that was my life. The academy for 6 months. Being on the streets for 2.5 years before I got hurt. That was my life every single day for the most part. That's 365 days a year. That was what I was living
Mm.
as a police officer. That was my mindset. So having that stripped away from me was pretty tough. Being very overwhelmed, anxious, depressed. I couldn't go back to work to an extent.
Mm.
Having to get on antidepressants and anxiety medications was something I didn't want to do, but was necessary at the time to be on those because I was just overwhelmed myself with everything,
Yeah.
things at my house that needed to be done, bills because it took away part of my income because I worked off duty, which is pretty much like extra jobs that you can do as a police officer, working like security for like baseball games or like basketball games or like concerts, whatever it might be. That's where I made a lot of good money,
Mm.
and I couldn't do that anymore because I was on limited duty.
Yeah.
So taking away that income and overwhelming myself with oh, I can't pay for this, I can't pay for this. Luckily, I had my dad and my mom to be that support system and be like, you know what, Tyler, like it's gonna be okay. Like they were very supportive of me and talking to me about like things, ways to cope, about doing things, not stressing myself out about bills and such like that, and just trusting the process, which has been tough. And I think the biggest thing for me is and I still struggle with it, but fully 100% trusting in God that He has your back. And the
Hmm.
biggest thing is it's easier said than done because I do trust Him, but sometimes it's not 100%. I'd be lying if I were to tell you that it was. I go through days where it is, and then I go through days when it's not. So,
Oh, I'm glad you said that because if people of faith, right? Because you're a believer, I'm a believer,
oh, 100%.
and to admit to yourself or anybody for that matter that you're, pardon my friend, you're pissed off at him, you're angry at him, and it's
Yeah, to an
almost like,
extent.
that's not even like, is that allowed?
Yeah.
But I think he's powerful enough that he can take that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing. That's the thing is I agree with that. It's like, you know, I struggled with this for a while. He didn't summon this to happen to me.
Yeah.
Like God didn't put this other individual who shot me on this earth so that He could shoot me and potentially kill me. But God is using this situation in a very good, positive way through me.
Yeah.
So if He can do that through me, then that is all that matters to Him. And He understands that I might be upset at Him. And honestly, it's not that I was upset at Him. It was just I didn't understand why this happened to me.
Yeah.
Like why a man at 26 years old in his prime, you know, prime shape, was on his way to do great things on the police department gets snatched away from him. It is what it is now. I live it day by day, and I take things day by day, and it's just something I live with every day. It's easier. There's nothing I could do about it now. It already happened. It's done and over with.
You know what that reminds me of? Michaela.
Yeah.
Michaela,
It,
your classmate.
she is very inspiring as well.
Yeah, she guys, and if you don't know, she was at the time 17-year-old local Prosper High School cheerleader that it was a backyard training accident or just they were messing around and she ended up breaking her neck, quadriplegic. And to be 17 at the time and not, I'm hoping to get her on the show and we've talked about getting her on very soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
I bring her up though because it's like she keeps saying, God's not done with me yet. And
I have one of her T-shirts.
do you? I gotta get one of those,
Oh yeah,
man. And
it's a nice T-shirt too.
it's pretty good quality. They're doing a good job over
It is.
there.
It is very
Yeah,
high
she's got her
quality.
own foundation and stuff, and we'll talk about that when we get her on, hopefully. But the fact that because she's very much a young woman of faith, and she's like, God's using me for this instead of what I
Exactly.
thought I was gonna do.
Yep.
So to your point, it's just whether you believe in God or you don't, you believe in the universe, you believe in love, you believe in a freaking pineapple, you believe in something, and it's like this is, it's okay, and
Yeah.
it's easier said than doing, because it's like, man, did life just give us a really crappy deck of cards, or what are we gonna do with
Yeah.
it? So anyhow, I'm gonna get
And
off my
that
shill box.
no, you're good. And to speak on that a little bit more, so one thing I wish that I I became a little bit closer with Michaela when I was down at ATF.
Yeah.
Just to hear her. I mean, I knew her story, but just to get to talk to her on a deeper level, because I was a little bit older than she was. Like, she never got to live the life of being out on her own. She was still in high school. She didn't get to uh, live on her own and have her own house, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was driving and such like that. But like, to be that young and to have that stripped away from you when she had a probably D1 scholarship for cheerleading, like that was snatched away from her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, all these things in a matter of seconds for doing what she loved to do,
Mm-hmm.
cheerleading. I think I talked when we did had graduation. Like, I pretty much said, like, you're inspiring to me to see you so young and to be able to get over this and continue to get over it every single day that I see her on Instagram or YouTube, whatever it is. Like, that's inspiring to me.
Oh my God. Well, I will put her information in the bottom of your episode if you're cool with that. I think
Oh, 100%.
everybody needs a little slice of Michaela Noble,
Yeah,
along with your story. I think it's a good little match.
yeah.
But with that, I'm glad you brought up ATF because we're about to talk about your journey there and what that looked like because that was the coolest thing
Okay.
ever. It was cool. It was pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
So when you're going through rehab and you're getting your help, when did you start working out? When did you start kind of meeting people, working out? What did that look like before you even learned about ATF?
Uh,
Or was that even a
that's a
thing?
tough. No, honestly, I learned about it from Tom Wagstaff, who was down at ATF, just because we both had that connection being police officers and shot.
Yeah.
I learned about it through them. I subsequently applied to ATF and obviously got accepted, but I didn't even know about it until from Tom, and I saw his experience down there. So
Yeah.
I had no idea about it.
Yeah, guys, and we're not talking about ATF, the alcohol, tobacco, firearms. We're talking about the Adaptive Training Foundation. Just to clarify, because people get confused all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you applied. You make it down here to Texas because you're still obviously in Kansas City, Missouri,
Yeah. Yep.
and you get down here to Texas. First of all, what do you think about Texas? Honestly,
Uh, I like Texas, so my brother still kind of lives in San Antonio. He actually moved to Mexico.
what?
Yeah. So he lived in San Antonio and he works remote.
Oh,
So
okay,
he went down there to visit. He took a Greyhound down to Monterey and loved it, and met some girl down there. And
dude.
he's a very free spirit guy. So he's like, hey, I'm just gonna move down there. Got a house. We helped him move out of his apartment. Take over his lease. So he's down there right now. But I have some family that lives in Frisco-ish area, Dallas
Yeah.
area, cousins, aunts, stuff like that. So I'm familiar with Texas, and I mean, I like it a lot. It's nice down there.
How about the barbecue? I have to.
Barbecue's good.
I,
Kansas
I,
City
I,
barbecue is very good too, but
mm.
Texas barbecue is good as well.
All right, there we go.
They're both very good. They're both very good.
I figured why not? I have you on the spot. Oh
It's all right.
man. So you come down to Carrollton, Texas, a suburb of Dallas,
Yep.
and you started your training. And I think I got to you about week 4 of your training, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I remember you had a goal. You had a goal. You wanted to do a muscle up.
Yep.
And for those that don't know, because I didn't even know what the hell a muscle up was, it's like those rings hanging from the ceiling and you pull yourself up. That's a muscle up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your journey like through ATF before we talk about that moment, just in general?
So it was good. I had, obviously you mentioned one goal, but another goal of mine was just to get all around better balance, coordination, things like that,
Hmm.
that I work on through my injury.
Yeah.
I was always a person that worked out a lot before I got hurt, so that was a big part of my life. I feel like before I got down there, I had a lot of things to work on, but I feel like I was still in good shape before I got down there. So the workouts weren't super hard for me, but my trainer made them as hard as they could be. Just shout out to Justin if he watches this. But so I mean they were tough, but I did have one goal of doing a muscle up.
Mm.
I tried the bar muscle up. I went in on my days off to try it, work hard. It didn't ultimately. I was close enough to getting it, but I didn't ultimately get it. So I tried the ring muscle up, and after a couple weeks of trying that, I ultimately got it. Thank
Yeah.
God. So it was tough. That was uh, a big win for me. I
Hmm.
think that's why at ATF they say, hey, what are your goals? Because once you hit those goals, and it's like, oh man, like now I could do so much more because I know that I can do this. I feel like that's why they do that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Got to trust the process, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it was crazy because I know they were working on your contralateral patterns
Yes.
and just your balance, your left, right. Just,
Mm-hmm.
it was quite, it was kind of comical sometimes watching you do some stuff.
Oh, it
And
was.
I'm
Yeah.
trying not to laugh because I feel horrible. I feel like a
No,
butthole.
you can laugh.
And
It's fun. You can laugh.
guys, and for those listening or watching on YouTube or whatnot, we had Tyler, we had you on the ski
Yes.
or the skier G, as my best friend likes to call it, the skier. You know, doing it, and then it was just like we were throwing literally anything we could at you to see if we could throw you off.
Yeah.
You know, it was first it was like alternate your hands, then while you're doing that, go up and down with your feet, and while you're doing all of
Mm-hmm.
that, and literally dancing on this thing, I want you to count backwards from 500 and threes. Like we were just
Mm-hmm.
trying any little thing we could to throw you off,
Oh yeah.
and you didn't really get thrown off.
No, I did a
It's pretty
few
cool.
times. I did. But I got back on track. So
You
yes,
did. Well,
I'm not gonna
you
sit here and
got
say I
yourself.
was perfect because that's not true.
No, you did mess up a little bit, and but you started catching yourself, which was really cool.
Yes.
And the not so nice, not curse words because you don't curse, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
say that, but I got you on video saying it. I got the proof, man. I got the receipts, like they say. So, hey, you're in the moment. It's gym talk. It's gym language.
That's all right.
But
That's true.
yeah, so we're working on all that, and Will, one of our guys, shout out to Will, really helped you with the muscle up.
Oh yeah.
And this kid, he's 19 years old, guys, but he's like
They-
one of the
He's a beast.
he's a beast. Very mature for his age, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, well, what was it like for you to go through all of that, but then also watch your classmates, and then Michaela, army crawling, which was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
That was
mean, just
awesome.
those magical moments. What was that like for you? What did you take away from it? I mean, when you graduated, all that stuff. What was that like?
It was awesome because I feel like I'm gonna be biased to our class. Shout out to class 24, but
You had a good class.
I feel like our class was very close. We did a lot of things outside of class together.
Mm.
Whether it be hanging out in each other's rooms or going to get dinner, you go and see a movie or whatever it might be. It didn't matter. We always did something on our days off, and I feel like that's why we were so close. And then obviously being in the gym together and seeing everyone like achieve their goals was even better.
Hmm.
Uh, we're very close. It was, I mean, for me, it's very inspiring seeing everyone that had struggles to be able to, just live life the way that, God intended them to live life, not to sulk and to get upset for whatever disability or ability they have and just kind of keep moving along every single day. So
Yeah.
that was inspiring to me. I see it all the time. Every single person I see in a wheelchair has their own story or in whatever quote unquote disability they have. Everyone has a story or even if they don't have a disability, everyone's got a story, so it doesn't matter.
So when you graduated and you went on your trip, did you notice a difference in you as an athlete overall?
Yeah, I did, and the biggest thing that I noticed was, I mean, physical obviously, but like mental as well, because like being down in Texas on my own for the first time, I think it scared my parents a little bit, but like that was the first time I was down there on my own, living on my own, doing my laundry by myself, not having any supervision around. And I feel like I really conquered that, and that showed me that I could do that on my own. And when we got to came where we went Idaho for redeploy, I get rooming with Jackson, which is also very
Hmm.
awesome to do,
Yeah.
just to see him and like the struggles that he endured as well. He's not the same as Michaela, but like he's on that level as Michaela, where like he was in college and ultimately got in a car accident, got both of his limbs, unfortunately cut off in his car accident, has a lot of burns on his skin and everything
Yeah.
else, but his life was changed as well.
Yeah.
And rooming with him and seeing that the struggles he endured, whether it be getting into the shower or getting out, like I'm a very, I try to serve people. So like seeing that kind of, it really kind of, it didn't make me cry because I can't really cry, but it kind of upset me because like he was like, hey, can you get my towel for me? Like it was just, I feel like it didn't embarrass him, but like I felt like he was like, this is it just showed me that this is what he deals with every day, and it's
Yeah.
very upsetting to see someone that has to deal with that. I'm fortunate where I can walk and be able to get into a shower by myself. Some people aren't as fortunate. Some people have to have help doing that,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be you be old or have a car accident or motorcycle accident or anything. It's just sad to see that. So and the people at ATF, that's just a small minute of
Mm-hmm.
like how many other people in this whole entire country, United States,
This
world
world, yeah.
have disabilities have. It's horrible.
Yeah. But it's cool you bring up Jackson because he, oh my god, that kid.
Yeah, you need to get him on
Oh
too.
man, I need to get him on. Wow, just wow. He's a head trainer now. He's helping as a head
That
trainer,
that is awesome.
and he learned how to walk on his stubbies in your class, and he got his full length prosthetic legs, and he
Hmm.
learned how to do that, and he's walking with two prosthetics now.
That's awesome.
It's barely been a year since his accident.
I know that is amazing.
I'm just like, whoa. But yeah, I'll have to get him
Yeah,
on. Ugh,
I need to come down.
yeah, you do.
I talked to Laura because I did a video for Kate,
Mm,
and it was like they did a video of her being down at ATF, and they asked me if I wanted to do. She asked me if I wanted to do. I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll do that.
love it.
So I did it for her, and then Laura took a selfie with Jackson, and she's like, hey, we miss you, and I was like, that made me feel good because like I have family down in Texas, and like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my grandma to go down there to see my aunt and uncle to stay with them so we can all go down there and meet up,
Man,
and I want to come back to the gym.
we got to get you in. We got to get you back.
I'll be back.
We love you. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I love you guys too. Probably within the next year, I would say, when things kind of
Yeah.
slow down a little bit with everything else. So
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because I know we had one of our guys, Nicholas. He was down here. He's got his own organization where you guys work out at.
yeah,
Oh my God, he's gonna kick me in the butt. I forget the name of the organization.
Iron Adaptive.
Ah, thank you, Tyler, for the save. And I'll put all this stuff on the bottom in the links. He came down and we were talking about you, and he said that you had another seizure,
Yeah, I did.
and because of that, you're not able to drive for
6 months.
it's insane, dude. And so you were in the
Yeah.
hospital at some point. I don't know if that was along the lines with the seizure or what.
Yeah, it was
Was that?
because I was at work when it happened and I busted my head open. So they just took me. I mean, they took me to the hospital just to make sure I had nothing in my head that happened, like a concussion or anything else. So thankfully I didn't. They just monitored me that night, and I didn't want to stay there, but I understood why I had to stay
No,
there and everything else. But sleeping in a hospital is not fun. I did
no.
it for months and months at a time, and then I never. I mean, I eventually probably will have to go back eventually and stay the night, maybe
Mm.
when I get older. But like, it's not something I want to do ever again.
One thing we didn't tell the listeners: the bullet. Where did the bullet end up?
Like, where did it go in or where did it end
Where
up?
is it at now?
It's in the middle of my brain somewhere, not really for sure. So like, I have like a video on my phone that my ex girlfriend gave me of like the uh the MRI, whatever they call it, where you could see like the
Yeah,
bullet go in, and then like where the fragments are still. So it's in the middle of my brain somewhere. I don't have like a map where I could like map it out and show you, but
but it's
it's in there
still in
somewhere.
your brain.
Yeah,
God dang. Sometimes, gosh. I didn't want to give it away. I wanted you to kind of spill the beans on that because I think that's phenomenal. I think it's crappy, but I think it's
yeah,
phenomenal. You know.
yeah,
And well, it's like Crystal, our Dallas police officer that got shot in the head.
yeah,
You know, she's
yeah.
got German pieces in her, and she says she's 1% German now when they reconstructed her eye socket.
That's funny.
And that's and talking about Crystal and all these other athletes, which are just like a speck of the community, right? To
Exactly.
have somebody like that when you come into ATF and you meet someone who's been through the same thing you
Yeah,
did, the same damn near scars, the
yeah,
same, like Crystal was helping Kate, another police
yeah.
officer. So it's like the police officer connections there.
It's
Um, it,
it's a very tight knit community, just like the military is.
yeah,
Just because we all have that, we know what the job is, we know what entails a job. We know the sacrifices we give, just like the military knows the
Yeah.
sacrifices they give. And when something traumatic happens to us, we all come together. Even when I got hurt, I mean, agencies all over the United States, the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, like everyone, Kansas City and beyond. Like I had people come from the FBI in Denver, which is where I went to rehab. Like they came out and saw me. Like it's a very tight knit community. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, and I'm sure that's how it is for the military as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
civilians and
yeah,
I mean
everyone.
everybody, you know. Um it's really cool to see that is a big thing here and beyond.
Yeah.
So your journey, I can only imagine the emotional support that did for you.
Oh yeah,
Meeting
100%.
people that went through the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So, what's in store for you now? What's going on now?
So what's in store for me now is I'm still working full time. I am taking a medical retirement at work.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, for
I
sure,
think,
for sure.
yeah, yeah. For a while, I was thinking about wanting to come back, and even when I was at ATF, I was in that mindset that I'm
Yeah, I
gonna go
remember
back to
that.
work. As time went along, I started looking towards the future, and I'm not married yet, don't have any kids, but that's something that I want in the future. So I started thinking long term, and I'm like, hey, Tyler, is this smart for you to go back to work just to prove to yourself that you can do it, which I know I can, or is it smarter for you to just take a medical retirement, have your medical bills paid for the rest of your life, have this set income the rest of your life, and not have to worry about having a seizure at work, getting my gun stolen, getting shot, or having my partner get shot. Like,
Yeah.
or if plus even if I had a seizure, I wouldn't be able to drive for 6 months. So
Yeah.
uh, I I couldn't even work for that 6 months, and it's a liability thing for the department and just for myself and everyone around me. So I just thought long term future, and it was just the smartest thing decision for myself to do. After I thought about that way, it was easy for me to make that decision. I was very stubborn at the beginning because I was like, no, I want to go back and do this, this,
Yeah.
this, like everything I wanted to do. And then I started thinking long term, like I just said multiple times. And it just like, this is just what I need to do. So yeah, I'm still working full time. Uh, so my major at the time when I got hurt, he is now the colonel over human resources. So I work in his office now.
Oh,
We're
nice.
very tight. We're very close. He's like a second dad to me. So I work for
Nice.
him now, kind of, and he's set me up with a civilian job. He's helped me out with that. So that's what I'm gonna end up doing once I fully get medically retired in the next probably 6 months. And
Hmm.
just gonna be working every day. So I don't know what door God's gonna open for me in the future. If it's with the police department more, great. If not, if it's something else, it's something else. So I don't know. Regardless, my job, my police department, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department is always gonna have a big part in my life, no matter what. It's always gonna be there. But if I choose to move on, then it's what I choose. So we'll see.
Phew. Well, you know you got us. We're gonna support you. Whatever we got to do, you know that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
And
know that.
let me ask you this real quick. What would you tell first responders out there, police officers or whoever that's struggling right now, struggling
Yeah,
with injuries, being shot at, maybe not shot, but shot
yeah.
at, or having to discharge their weapon, or when crap hits the fan and they're struggling, what's something you would tell them right now?
The biggest thing, like you said, it's whether you're being shot at, shot, or even if you shoot someone, that's a big trauma on themselves as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Just remembering the reason why you became a police officer at the beginning. A lot of officers, I feel like when they start, they remember why they became police officers, whether it be to help people or to, be a certain type of detective or be on the SWAT team, wherever it is. Just remember why, where you started when you first get on. If something traumatic happens to you, remember your why, just like everyone in life. Everyone has a why. I would just say to remember that because once I mean you being a police officer, that's not going to be you 100% of the time, 365, 24/7 the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, do things outside of work, um, family, whatever. If you have kids, you know, remember that you have kids, a wife, loving wife, wherever it is. Just do things outside of work, have another hobby rather than just being a police officer 24/7 because it's going to drain you up and it's not going to be fun. So I would just say, remember your why. Sum it up. Remember your why.
And then for those that are struggling with mental health, who would
Struggling with
rather,
mental health.
like, we just bottle it up and we don't want to get that help because we're afraid if the command finds out, that whole stigma, right?
Yeah, there is a stigma, especially in the military and law enforcement. I feel like it's gotten a little bit better,
Yeah.
especially on my department, but
Good.
talk about it. Don't bottle it up because it only gets worse, as we all know. When you sit there and act like nothing's wrong, that's when it just eats you away slowly.
Mm.
And so I would just say talk about it because you feel a lot better when you get things off your chest. Like I go to a men's Bible group on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And, last Thursday I was looking forward to, we have a little group me text. And I said, hey, I'm looking forward to, meeting with you guys. I got some stuff I need to talk about. And once I get that off my chest, I feel a lot better. But bottling it up and sitting there thinking about it all day is not good for you. It's not good for your loved ones. If you have a wife, kids, it's gonna mess up your relationship with them. So just seek help, get help, talk about things. Whether
Yeah.
not this doesn't have to be a stranger, but your loved ones, your wife, your kids, whoever it is, coworkers, friends, anyone. Just
get
talk
it out.
about it. Get it off your chest. Yes.
Get it out. Wow. Well, I appreciate you, Tyler. I really
Oh yeah, no problem. I
appreciate you.
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, I usually go for an hour, but like I said, if we get in a half hour, we get in a half hour. And
Okay,
we got all the meat and potatoes here, my friend. Is there
cool.
anything that we left out that you want to talk about in particular, or are we all set? You tell me.
Uh, I don't really have anything in particular. Everything I talked about, and I just want to summarize it up, and just just to be that person that you were put on this earth to be.
Hmm.
Remember your why. Remember, just remember all that, and to if you have a passion, just stick with it. You're gonna go through times that are tough. You're gonna go through times that suck. You're gonna go through times that you might want to give up. Don't give up. Keep pushing along. You're gonna wake up the next day as long as the sun's out, and the sun's gonna come out every single day. So remember that. Get up in the morning. Do what you need to do. Love your loved ones. Love your kids. Love whoever's in your life. Your parents. Your grandparents. Whoever it is. Just live life day by day and really enjoy life the way that people need to enjoy life, because there's so many people that are depressed about life. There's so many people that want to talk about how bad things are, but just remember that not necessarily me, but there's other people that are in a lot worse situations than me. Just remember they are dealing with a lot of things and you have it a lot better than they do. So remember that, because some people aren't able to get up every single day and do things. That's pretty much what I want to sum up and say.
Dude, mic freaking drop. Bink. I love it. Well, thank you again for being on, Tyler. And
Oh yeah, no problem.
I love your heart. I love watching you guys, get reconnected in Kansas City. All of our ATF alum, you guys are just killing it. And Kate's gonna come
Oh
back
yeah.
and same thing, crush it with you guys. So it's just really cool to see what Nicholas has helped build, and Kate and you guys up there. So
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
yeah,
I'll actually see him tomorrow morning.
are you really?
Oh yeah.
Tell us hello.
Usually we work out Tuesdays and Thursdays. He
Mhm.
had something going on this week, so we're doing tomorrow, and I think Friday. I'm not 100% sure, but at least tomorrow I am for sure.
Sick. Yeah, tell him I said hello. And before before we jump off, I didn't ask this question. I should have answered. Gosh, I should have asked this because it's hilarious. You remember the tortilla challenge that we did?
Oh yeah, of course. I remember winning the tortilla challenge as well.
Man, you guys, the tortilla challenge. Tyler was on the receiving end of a brutal hit.
Oh gosh,
Brutal
I forgot about Travis. Yeah.
It's Sahar and all those guys.
Hey, but you know what? I took it.
Mm,
I sat there and took it, and then I gave it back, and he's the one that started laughing. I was surprised. I was like, no way he's gonna laugh off this little tiny hit. Surprisingly, he did.
oh
So
my god. Yeah, I had to put that in there because I totally forgot to ask about that and kind of BS about that. But yeah, Tyler is the reigning tortilla challenge champion.
I am.
So if any of y'all want to buck up to him, go get you some tortillas and we'll make it happen, huh?
Come down to Kansas City.
Yeah. All right, but I'm gonna sign off with my listeners and hang tight. Don't go anywhere, and I'll
Cool.
be right back. All
All right.
right, guys, there you have it. We got Tyler Moss, man. This dude's a freaking hero. I love this dude. Freaking hero, man. So, yeah, if you liked what you heard, subscribe, do all that stuff that makes you YouTube famous. Leave us a review because that's what's going to help us reach more people. And get ready for more amazing stories with amazing people. And until then, I will see y'all later. Bye.